Well, hello everybody. It's PJ with PJ and Friends Radio Network and Girth from Earth Bears podcast. So I wanted to talk about the last week, and I wanted to share this with my friends, family, whoever else might be interested. Because now Matt chooses the call. A week ago Thursday. So last Thursday, the 14th, I think it was. The day before that or so, I had some challenges, and I talked to my doctor. He said I should go to the ER. I felt okay. But I had made arrangement with Randy Richter. The next morning I was going to go. I had everything packed, you have a to-go bag. I guess it's like you're pregnant, right? So you have your computer, your laptop, blah, 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 all sorts of stuff printed out to give the doctor and whoever might ask questions. Apparently, Wednesday night into Thursday, when I went to sleep, my ammonia levels, which should be near zero, approached 181, which is deadly. You see that I'm not healthy anymore. So apparently I was out for maybe a day and a half. Friday I must start coming around, but my numbers were so high I had no clue where I was at. I didn't even know I had left the building. So let me start by saying what I was told by Randy Richter. Normally I have the garage door open. He has access to everything. He has a medical power of attorney. He's one of the people that can make decisions for me if Junior's just unavailable. So he used the code to get in the house, and he came to the room and tried to wake me, and I guess I was not waking up. He called 911. And they got here, and Randy said he couldn't watch what they were doing because they couldn't wake me up. They would use pain, and I might grumble or groan or whatever, but I was not waking up. So when you have that, when someone in my position who has liver disease, when you get to a point where you're comatose because of the ammonia level, you are in danger. Your life is in danger. If he had not come by, there's a good likelihood that I would have passed away. So he called 911, and then the ambulance came. He proceeded to tell me that some of the guys were pretty hunky. I know you're trying to. So, give me a second. I'm trying to pull a message that I read today with different eyes. Because you know what? I still have not made. I am not 100%. I still have a problem with dexterity. My strength is way off. So, 6 days ago, when let's see here. 6 days ago, PG is at Baylor Scott and White McKinney in the ER unresponsive at the moment. I'm here with him, guarding over him. My love is strong and prayers are never enough. So what I will post when I have any news. I will always love him forever, and prayer will get him through this. I didn't understand when I woke up why he was saying when Keith was there and Doug was there, they were crying. It didn't dawn on me or make sense to me until this morning, around 4:35 in the morning when Junior's getting ready for work. And I started crying uncontrollably because all these people thought I was dead or was gonna die. So apparently a couple hours later I came to. Thank you to everyone, PJ has recovered. Well, I sort of did at that point. I was still not out of the woods because you know what, I don't know. It always seems like nurses and doctors are yelling at you. PJ, John, do you know where you are? And I heard them. I didn't understand because I couldn't even conceive of where I was. It wasn't until Saturday evening, maybe, that my numbers had come down enough that I started to understand, but I still had no dexterity. I had no strength. And I'll go into that all later. First, you guys, if you honestly care for me, Randy Richter saved my life. If he had not come by, if we had not had that appointment for him to take me to the ER, if I had not been that smart, I would have died. So him coming here, him checking on me, him calling 911 saved my life. If I had stayed there the rest of the day, there's a good likelihood I would have passed away and Junior would have come home to a body. I gotta be honest with you. I have a roommate named Clayton. He would never have checked on me. Never. Guess I'm just a better human being. I don't know. So I want to thank you. When I moved to Texas, first I don't love Texas, but in the PJ verse, which is where I live every day, I met some beautiful people all through Junior in one way or another. So in 2019, when I moved here and I married him, first I didn't know how lucky I was. There's a whole list of people I want to thank, but I think I'm going to miss people, so please don't be offended. I love you, Randy. I love you, Mark. Matt Jervy, my brother in Orlando. He's coming for Thanksgiving. He'll be here that Saturday. I would like as many of you here as possible because this person, other than Junior, is the one that means he knew me longer. We've lived through some horrible things. Keith Chamness, Stephen Lusk, Carlos and James, Sam and Dougie, Randy and Mark, Spider Monkey, Joseph Story. I'm a better friend than he'll ever be, but Clayton Wiedemann, our roommate, has no clue. He's clueless sometimes. I am scared sometimes. I don't want to die, but I think my heart tells me it's not far away. And you know what kills me? Bad choice of words. as much as I love Junior, he's a big source of my stress. This morning, for example, can you turn on the light switch? Why? Because I want to see the lights in China. Why ask why? Just turn the light on for me. He'll ask a question before he'll help. In the hospital, years ago when we first got married, we sat and we would have these endless talks about things, and I told him things that I never wanted to happen unless there was no other choice. I never wanted a catheter, but I understood this, that was different. I never wanted to be naked. Because a lot of times they'll say, well, it's just what we do. Well, that's not, but in this whole situation, all those things were right. But one of the things that frustrates me with Junior, as much as I love him, and I guess it's a marriage thing, I don't know. I told him, when I'm talking to a doctor, when I'm there, I need to do the talking. Unless for some reason I can't. He swore up and down that he knew, and he promised this and that, this and that. We get to the room, and I'm finally awake, and I have questions. Junior cannot help himself. I know he has questions, but I'm sorry. It doesn't mean anything to me that you have questions. I want to get my questions out. Why might that be? I know my memory's no good. So when I have the questions in my head, I gotta get them out while I remember them. But I'm arguing with him. And I look over there like he's here, he's not, because that's where he was when I was in the hospital, he was on my right-hand side. And he would argue with me about it. But we'd had conversations that this was not so good. And you know what, though? I'm at a point where I have to decide whether I want to ban him from the hospital when I'm in the hospital. I don't know how else to convince him that what he's doing is not my wishes. He says he understands, but he does it anyway. He's Junior. And I know he's not going to be happy with this part, but Junior, you've made promises about certain things and you've never followed through. A very mild pet peeve of mine right now is Junior likes those Japanese fans, whap. I bought, for Joe's birthday, I bought 3 of them. One for him, one for Joe, and a spare. Well, what was happening was he was walking around kind of Nelly and it was flat. And then what he would do, he'd come to the hotel room and he thinks it's funny to walk around all sort of Nelly-like. I married a man. I didn't marry someone, no. The problem is this is becoming a habit. He can't help himself. And I've looked him in the eye and I've told him, Junior, I do not want to see that gait and that behavior. And of course, his first thing is to argue. You have to support me, I'm gay. Well, if you identified as a chair, would you expect me to fucking support you? I don't think so. But see, these are the things that I know he is not gonna do what I've asked. Now, had he waited, and I said, can I go first with the questions? And he was to argue about it. I'm having to compromise when we've had a conversation about this. And he says, I promise I'll do better. I promise I'll do better. And he doesn't do better. He's Junior. And he thinks he can separate the nurse and the husband, but he cannot do it. And there are times where I'm very grateful. He takes care of all of my meds. He knows my wounds. He knows what medications to suggest. Because he's an LVN, he can talk their language. He can talk to the doctors. and everything's great. So there's a lot of good to that. And I am so proud of the work he does and how much far he's came from when he worked at that headache clinic when he was 460 pounds. He couldn't breathe. And Doug will raise his hand and say, we all thought he was on his way out. And he probably would have been if he hadn't had the weight loss surgery. So people might want to know why I don't qualify for a transplant. It's kind of a double-edged sword. Part of the problem was when I started seeing them and they knew that I had liver disease and it hadn't progressed to the point. I told you guys a long time ago, I had like 6 to 12 months, I thought. Now they have what's called a MELD score. I have a 90% chance of making it. 80% chance of making it. I'm going to get this backwards. 90% chance of making it a year, an 80% chance of making it 2 years. That was before all of this. So I don't know what I have now. So I weighed 375 when I arrived here. I was always heavy. What caused my liver disease? I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do drugs. Never have, never will. I do not like the taste of alcohol. I graced Junior 1 year with a sip of, I think it was wine or champagne for something, I can't remember what it was. It was just a sip, and I barely could get it. I see the look on your face. I can't stand this stuff. I mean, I can cook with wine, because that goes away, but I can't do the other stuff. And you know what? In the hospital, they didn't believe me. They kept asking me a dozen times, hey, do you drink? No. No. Do you drink? No. So what caused the problem was that I was untreated for diabetes and being overweight for many years simply because I didn't have insurance. I probably went 10, 15 years with no insurance. And that put me in danger. That's what created the liver disease. And it was discovered by accident. I went for an annual endoscopy and up the ass stuff. When we did the endoscopy, they found varices, and varices are like spider veins in your neck. And if they pop, you could drown in your blood. So he tied those off. But it was that led them to believe I had liver disease. And because it was, you don't get the varices until like stage 4. Then they moved on to a biopsy, and that's when they confirmed it. So in 2020, I was confirmed. Now I started seeing a hepatologist who's a liver doctor, focuses on transplants. He says, well, I can't do a transplant until you resolve some issues because we're just going to give you a liver that you're going to break. And there are people out there that aren't going to break it or aren't going to kill it. They suggested weight loss surgery, but when I had to go around getting approval for the weight loss surgery, there's 3 levels. There's the band, and the highest one is the duodenal switch. That's, the duodenal switch is more invasive, and they remove more of your stomach, and it's very little they can do to sort of repair the damage if they have to go back. But if I had picked a sleeve, I would have been in a better position. But because I picked the duodenal switch, and part of that is because Baylor, like any other company, is a moneymaker. The doctor, Daniel Davis, was pushing the DS because that costs more. He gets more money, Baylor gets more money, whatever. That's what Junior had. I thought, okay, that makes sense. I wanted results. I didn't want to make a mistake. Now, my liver doctor, when I went to get his approval, did say I would prefer you get the sleeve. But he didn't tell me why. I said, I can't force you to. If he had said, well, we've seen complications, I would have then at least had a point of reference to I better really seriously but explain it to me. Explain the danger to me. Maybe they didn't know what the danger was. So I have the weight loss surgery, and I have that the duodenal switch, which means they can't reverse it. So I spent a year, in a couple of months, I was down to 312, and a couple months later, my normal weight is around 220, somewhere between 220 and 230. And that's great. I don't care if I can't lose another pound. However, when I went through my workup, so they said, okay, we're gonna do a workup on you. And they have a whole process that they do. You see a psychiatrist, you see a psychologist, you see a heart doctor, you see a lung doctor, you see all these other people, and they do assessments, they do radiology, they do contrast, different kinds of contrast, because I'm allergic to it, but where they can check things out, and they get 12 uphill, they fall, go down. Anyway, there's a whole bunch of stuff. I was in for a week. And they have a meeting every week where they have people that are on a list, and they advance people, or they deny people based on certain things, like if they find drugs or alcohol in your system, you're not getting it. They had in September, August, September, 3 or 4 people, almost, I think it was 5, that had a DS, the duodenal switch. 1 died on the table. 2 died shortly after because it became a nutritional issue and they couldn't reverse it. They couldn't reverse it. You really can't reverse that level of thing. And there's like 2 or 3 others that were, at the time, were in ICU. And being at Baylor downtown, when Junior was in the office downtown, he could come right across the breezeway. All the doctors come in, a psychologist comes in, and a representative from the transplant team. Junior gets there and we sit down. And they explain that, Mr. Pantelio, we're gonna have to deny you because we haven't worked out the process yet where we can do it safely. And we believe the surgery itself would kill you. And therefore, we won't be doing this transplant. So that all stopped. And I'm okay with that because I don't really want to die, okay? So now, I was seeing my doctor on a regular basis, managing the symptoms. Blood work, paracentesis, you all see the video where they stick me with the needle and this pumps out the fluid. I do that once a week, Mondays. And so that's where we are. That's why I don't qualify. Now, it was recommended that I get a second opinion. And we want to go to UT Southwestern. And we will. I don't think they're going to have much different, and I'm not willing to risk my life, but I want to see what they'll say. So here's how this works. I've met every deductible I have. So my meds are free, hospital stays are free, treatments are free, everything. And the way that happened was 1 hospital stay for a week. Wiped out that. Now, I don't have to pay, it was like $4,000. I added to a payment plan. It was like $20 a month or $70 a month for several years. And they get paid and they're fine. And anytime there's something that costs money, at that time, before the benefits recognize, it took a while for things to be processed, for it to recognize that I'd spent that kind of money. It would just be added to the financing. We're at the end of the year. It's foolish for me to do any of this at the end of the year because I'd have to do it again. So what we're going to do is 2 things. Number 1, I'm going to go into a hospital, have a second set of workups, For Baylor, that'll take the week, that'll burn up the money. I'll tell them, put it on the payment plan, I will met my deductible, and everything will go back the way it is today. Anything that is, they're in network, but they are not a Baylor doctor, it's a tier 2, and it has a different, deductible level and all that. But it's still around $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, something like that, dollars. And that's for, per each of us. In other words, I met my deductible, this is a pass on to Junior. So I will then go to, I'm gonna work with a hepatologist from their side, explain what we're doing. I actually don't even need to do that, I'm gonna let them do the work. And then when they bill me, I'm gonna say I need a payment plan, I'll set up a payment plan, because I'm sure they'll have their own fucking portal. Burn through they'll charge the insurance, the pay plan, I will meet the deductible, and on tier 2, I will also have it. So if I need to see a tier 2 doctor, which anything I do at UT Southwestern will be tier 2. But if I did that now, I'd have to pay whatever the cost is, add it to a payment plan. And then the minute January rolls around, when everything recycles, I'd have to do it again. I might as well just wait till the first week of January. So that's where we are. So I explained what's going on. And now I want to go back and one more thing. A couple more things. As of right now, even now, I tire very easily. I don't have any energy. It may come back, it may not. But I'm doing the right things. I'm taking all my meds. I always have. The lactulose is a medication that is sort of like a laxative, but it's designed to pull the ammonia out of your body. But there are times, especially at my stage level, that things just are too much for my body. But the only way to keep the numbers down is to poop as much as possible using that stuff. So I take it out religiously, okay? And everybody kept doubting me till the other night when I shit the bed. I wear diapers now almost all the time because I don't know when and where I'm gonna be. And sometimes I simply can't make it to the bathroom. We added grab rails to our bathroom, godsend. I've worked with Clayton to make everything work verbally in the house. We've ran into some glitches, but we got everything up and running. We have a few things left to do, but we're poor. We're out of money. So that's where I am. I would like as many visitors as possible, as often as possible. I don't know what tomorrow brings. I don't know. I don't know. So I'm not worried about tomorrow. Today, I'll get through today. We'll worry about tomorrow. But I need you guys. Doug, Sam, Mark, Randy, Carlos, James, Keith, Stephen, Adam, my brother Matt, my husband, Junior, my friend Joseph Story, who lives. Guy's an airhead sometimes. He really is, but he can't help but love the guy. He's so fucking genuine. And Spider Monkey, I have a lot of questions about physical therapy. So anyway, that's where we are. I did this video the way I did it so that I can upload it to YouTube and Facebook. I did no music or anything like that because that wasn't the intention. And for the love of God, I hope this microphone worked. I don't know for sure. I'll have to listen back. I love you guys. I want visitors. Joseph Hyder in Utah. I think out of everybody I know, you've known me the longest, but to be honest, we're not that close. But we have been through an awful lot. I would like you here when Matt's here. If I can have that, I'd be great, but people have lives. I want to thank you guys. Oh. Junior is still working for the heart clinic, but he moved up to an office in Plano so he could be closer to home, number one, to ease his commute, because it was taking its toll on him and it was expensive. And so he was closer, so it was so happy he could be here. He was within his first week, I think it was. His boss. And he has PTO and all this. And he is on FMLA. So he's covered. But he didn't want to use it right away. I mean, we certainly don't want to scare them that he might not be there all the time, especially being new and learning a new position. His managers and staff, like the ones downtown, are amazing people. They let him come. They let him do the things he needed to do. And that's why I was able to wake up and get mad at him to sit next to me, because they let this guy who had just started technically with them, but it's not like starting over. He still gets all the things he got as he did. But they could have had a problem with it. So Junior was with me and he went to work that Monday. So thank you to the people at the heart clinic in Plano. I can't be grateful enough for you letting him be the one I wake up to. I understand now why Keith and Sam were crying. Or Doug, when they were with me in the ER. They thought. And you know what? It could have easily gone either way. Enough of this bullshit. I really have to rest. I'm doing way too much. And I know I am. I'm tired. So you guys have a great afternoon. Grab your husbands and give them the biggest hug you can get. Doug and Sam. You guys are just so alike. The travel you do, the loves that you like. You're going to hate me saying this, but Sam, you're the woman of the house, just so you know. And now whenever we ask Doug to do something, I have to ask Sam. And so I want to thank you for the times you've let him come out and play. You know what I mean. Just come out and do things, not really play. Love you guys. It's a great day. Matt will be here next Wednesday through Sunday. I'm trying to convince him to move to Texas. At one point he was open to it. Now he's like, I don't know. I have a dog. He has my dog. My dog, Dante. But he's taken care of it for the last 17 years. Anyway, love you guys. Have a great day. Cherish every moment. You never know. And exit the PJ verse. You guys have a great day.